welcome back to terryscookbook.com. This is Terry Searcy. I'm here to show you a quiche. It's not going to be the traditional quiche, so just keep that in mind. If you have a regular pie tin that you had from, Thanksgiving or something, well, those reusable ones, even if you have some chicken pot pie pans, those will work. You do not have to have a rolling pin, you don't have to have the pie crust roller, you can do it all in your pan. So this is my pan that I'm going to be using because I do save those really big ones from Costco at Thanksgiving and Christmas time. I collect them and then I repurpose those and I make my own pies out of those pans, as they're perfect and they already have a container, so those are really good. That's kind of big for what I'm going to be doing right now. So I'm going to use this. I have 1.5 cups of flour. You can use gluten-free flour. You can use almond flour. It's okay. I have 1/2 cup of, you can either use vegetable oil, you can use canola oil, you can use grapeseed oil, you can even use the lighter olive oil that they use for baking. Again, I'm going to put all this up on my website. I have combined 1/2 teaspoon of salt. If you're wondering why my salt looks pink, it's because it's Himalayan salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. And I also have 1.5 teaspoons of sugar. I'm going to do this all in the pan, so my hands are already nice and clean. I'm going to dump my flour in there. I'm going to put my salt and pepper, and I'm going to put my sugar. I'm going to combine this first, mix it in. Obviously, if you are going to make this for a regular pie, because you can use this for like a strawberry pie, or if you're going to use a banana cream pie later on, you're not going to put the salt and pepper in it. You're going to omit that. Okay, once I have all this combined, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dump my oil in it. I'm going to mix it all here. So it takes no rolling pin, which is lovely. If you're using this kind of pan, it's just a little bit, you just want to make sure you get all the flour off here on the sides. You're going to set your oven to 375 and you are going to pre-bake this pie crust for about 10 minutes. And then we're going to move on to our quiche filling. While I'm doing this, I'm going to talk a little bit about the quiche filling. I am going to put that again on the website. Traditionally, quiche filling has heavy whipping cream, 1/2 and 1/2. You probably don't have that because we're on lockdown, or you're not going to go out to get that. If you have some of the milk that you made, that's what I'm going to be using. So here's 2 tablespoons, I know I said teaspoons, 2 tablespoons of cold milk. Yes, we do forget things. So we're going to mix this all together. As you saw, it's not going to hurt anything. You just want it cold when you're adding it to it. Okay, so now I threw my train of thought off, but I was talking about the filling. That's what I was talking about. So I'm mixing this together. You want to use, you can use the milk that you made from the heavy cream. If you have heavy cream left, you'll be able to use that in the filling. Okay, right now, we'll go back to the filling in a minute. I was just kind of killing some time as I was mixing this. So right now, this is what my pie crust looks like. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my hands and I'm just going to push it to the sides. So you don't have to worry about a rolling pin. Like I said, some of my things are a little bit more untraditional, and that's okay. And you can work on that afterwards if you want to cook after being inside forever. Okay. So I'm going to push this up against the sides. I use the palm of my hand. You want to make sure that you don't have the center of this really high, because that's what happens a lot of time, is the center ends up with like this big old thick amount of crust, so you don't want that. So I'm using my fingers just to pinch it up against the top there. Now, can you roll this out? Absolutely, you can if you want. There's no problem with that. I'm just trying to make things easier for you by not having to do that. And again, this is kind of fun for the kids. They can definitely participate in this. For those who are going to start home ec classes with your kids since they've been home. All right, I'm going to pop this in the oven for about 10 minutes. Check out how it looks. I'm going to leave it on my cookie sheet because that way I don't burn myself as I do that. And see you in about 10 minutes. Welcome back. Okay, I'm going to check my quiche crust. And it's doing well. I don't know if you can get that, Gus, but it's doing well. I'm leaving it a little bit on the blonde side because when I do my quiche, it still has to bake for like another 30 to 40 minutes here. If you're using this crust, and again, I'll have all the directions on the website. If you're using this crust for a regular banana cream pie, something that you don't need to rebake, that you're going to fill like with a pudding filling or something like that, then you're going to want to put it in the oven for at least another 10 minutes. You want it nice and that kind of golden brown look to it. Okay, so I'm going to do my quiche. Quiche is basically whatever you have left over in your refrigerator is what you're going to fill it in with. So the basic is eggs. So I have 6 eggs here. And I'm using a cup of milk, and this is the milk recipe that I had used with using the heavy whipping cream. Typically, because I know some of you are going, oh my gosh, she's just using regular milk. I know you're supposed to use half and half or whipping cream, but I'm not going to the store. So, milk. Whole milk preferably, something that has a little bit more fat. Non-fat milk isn't going to work so well. It doesn't have as much fat, but if you needed to use it, you could. I can go ahead and I'm going to blend this up a little bit. And at this point, I'm going to add my salt and pepper so it gets really well mixed in there. It's about a half a teaspoon of each. Okay, I'm all mixed up there. That drip in there. I'm going to add what I had left over in my refrigerator. I'm going to put that on the bottom first. So I'm going to put some bacon that I found, a couple of strips. I know that normally doesn't last in the house. If you have some of that ham that I told you should buy, that big one, you could throw that in there. I'm going to put some mushrooms that I had left over in there. It doesn't all have to fit. You don't need to cram it all in there. But whatever you have left over, that would be wise to do. I have some scallions. I have to let you know that the tops of green onions are scallions, and these little tiny threads are your chives, just so you know. Our son didn't know that. So I go ahead and put some, this is sun-dried tomatoes that I had. I made asparagus the other day, and this is about half an inch from the top of the bottom of the asparagus. This is a little bit above that. So that's what the asparagus is. I have a couple little pieces of broccoli. And I may have some egg mixture left over because I've really packed this. I have about a cup and a half of cheese. Doesn't have to be really smoked good, it's really good. But yeah, we don't have that right now. And then I'm going to pour the egg mixture on top. You might have to let it get through all the crevices of everything that you have just tossed in here. What I like about this recipe with the crust is that you bake it at 375 and you bake your quiche at 375. All right, so actually that's all my egg mixture fit perfectly. I'm gonna throw this in the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes. I know there's a 10-minute difference in the time, but when you see me, once it comes out, you'll know exactly what it's supposed to look like. So I'm gonna pop this back in. See you guys in a little bit. Welcome back. It's been about 35 minutes, or 45 minutes actually, since I put my quiche in, so I'm gonna take that out. So let's see what it looks like. Yes, it is ready. So this is my quiche. This is what your quiche should look like. Mine took 45 minutes. I did have it pretty well packed in there. My husband asked me if we were eating this for dinner tonight. We are not having this for dinner tonight. I have a chiropractor appointment I have to go to tomorrow. So this is breakfast. Again, so I did 6 eggs. I am going to get at least, well, I have 3 large hungry men. They're big boys. So at least the 4 of us will be able to eat, 4 adults, happily from that. I hope you enjoyed our video, and I hope you enjoyed our little dog Jack, who is in the back with his little blue sweater. He's our older dog, and he's our senior dog, so he stays in the house with us as well. So you saw him in the video, and apparently our little Pomeranian also made a little debut if you saw her in another recipe I was doing. Thanks a lot. Stay safe. Stay healthy. See you back soon.